Jeff talks about content coming to Overwatch before the launch of Overwatch 2. He also teases a new dog, which is related to possibly an existing hero or maybe a new hero, but I think maybe an existing hero, which we will learn more about in the future. So yeah, what we're going to do, guys, is break down an excellent interview which has been conducted by my man Tam from GameSpot. I'll put a link to his Twitter in the video description below, and also to the article if you guys want to check it out. But we're going to go into this because there's a lot of Jeff talking about what they did in terms of the showcase for Overwatch 2, how they're going to handle Overwatch content going forward, and all of that stuff. So this is a hot topic right now in the community. We want to know what's happening with Overwatch, and we want to see if there's any kind of substantial content coming towards the game and sort of what the plans are for it until Overwatch 2 launches. So what we're going to do is break this down. Let's do it. Because we know we're going to make new, cool stuff that we can tease out later and trickle out later. There's things I don't even know what they are yet today, but I have confidence in my team over the next year we're going to be able to come up with something cool. So this one was much different. I think the team reaction after this BlizzCon was, oh, we did it. They understand. They finally really see the vision for Overwatch 2 that we've seen all along. That was a big success. And then I think we struggle with the same thing that the community struggles with, which is, boy, we wish there was more content coming for Overwatch. All right, so this is Jeff talking about the announcement video they made for Overwatch 2 this year, which was much better than what they showed in 2019. It gave a much better indication or idea of the scope of Overwatch 2. And yes, a lot of people now are coming out saying, hey, this does look like a sequel instead of just a glorified expansion pack or basically DLC, which is essentially the Archives Plus. That's kind of what it looked like back in 2019. So things have changed now. They've done a good job there. But what he's alluding to here is he's saying, like, look, we put a lot of things into this trailer, into this video. We could have kept stuff out and we could have trickled that out and kind of kept you spoon-fed over the next year or so, but we decided not to, which is fine. But I think the last line is what gets me the most, saying that they struggle with the same thing that the community struggles with, which is, boy, we wish there was more content coming for Overwatch. Maybe we can go completely speculative here and go, is this a cry for help from Jeff? Is this Jeff saying, somebody above me is telling me not to make content for Overwatch, but I really want to make content for Overwatch, but I can't because the boss man says no? That's an interesting point of view, isn't it? And on that front, it's a little bit tricky for us because how the community talks about it is not actually fair. They hate it when I say that, by the way, and they'll criticize me for saying that. But they tend to talk in a little bit of a dramatic hyperbole, which I like because I too talk in dramatic hyperbole. So I feel like we're talking the same language. But they'll say, oh, that means we're not getting any new content for Overwatch 1. But I don't think that's a fair representation. I think we've actually done quite a lot of work for Overwatch, even since BlizzCon 2019 announcement. The rate at which we've increased balance patching, I hear the fans will say all the time, oh, I can't believe they didn't add any new maps. When we just added Kanazaka, which I think is an amazing map. I think it's one of our best playing and one of our best looking maps. We've done tons of what we call these mini events, where we did one for Symmetra when we released her short story, Stone by Stone. We've added new modes to things like Lunar New Year, where we did the Bounty Hunter mode. So I feel like what the community is saying when they're saying, oh my gosh, you're not releasing any new content, I feel like what they are saying is, we really wish there was a new hero that you were releasing between now and then. And it literally comes down to, we can release a new hero, but then we have to delay Overwatch 2. And I don't think that's the right decision for now. So, I'm going to leave this on the screen while I just talk about this. So, right then, I think when the community are asking for content, they want meaningful content added to the game, substantial core content added to the game. Kanazaka is a free-for-all map, which is not one of the core gameplay modes. It's not substantial content. Yeah, it's a good map. It's the best deathmatch map by far. But it's not really core content, is it? It's a deathmatch map. Then we see balance patching. Now, I'm going to be completely brutal here and say that is the minimal amount of support you have to give a live service game, which is basically primarily focused on PvP. It has to be balanced. There will be things that will be broken that need to be addressed. So you have to do that. If they stopped patching Overwatch with balance updates, that would be very concerning. So that is the minimal amount of stuff they should do, right? Sure, we get Kanazaka, okay, and we get mini events, okay. But again, you can be brutally honest with mini events. It's literally win 9 games. It is not... What is the content there? Like, you get a skin, you get a spray, you get an avatar, and then usually you get more sprays or something through watching various streamers, which, by the way, why isn't this enabled for YouTube? Why is it just a Twitch thing? I mean, okay, I'd make YouTube videos, but why shouldn't people get rewards for watching YouTube videos instead of stream? Or as streams, not instead of, I should say as streams as well, like in conjunction with them. Makes no sense to me. But anyway, yeah, so it's minimal. You know what I mean? And actually referencing this mode, the Bounty Hunter mode, I'm pretty sure that was already in the arcade. That had already been, well, not in the arcade, but already in the workshop. Workshop creators have made that. In fact, workshop creators have made arguably much better modes than that. So really weird. And it's a minimal thing. It's little. So I don't know. Like, I don't really agree with what he's saying here. Like, Overwatch has had the bare minimum amount of content to keep it going. When people are asking for content, they want juicy content. New gameplay modes that are added to the core multiplayer, the PvP rotation. Yeah, sure, we've got push coming to Overwatch 2, but why isn't that in the game already? We can just go over this argument forever and a day, but balance patches, yeah, you need them to keep the game going, right? It's going to keep the game slightly fresh, but also you sort of need them in case things go wrong and you need to address stuff. Kanazaka, whatever. It's not a core map, but it's fine. Yeah, I mean, I've gone over it. I'm not going to go over it again. You guys let me know what you think about that in the comments below. Yeah, I don't think of it as placating at all. In fact, I think it's necessary, and it's something that we not only want to do, but we love doing. We love adding content to the game. We really enjoy it. So, it's definitely not something that we do just because we feel like people are complaining. This is our baby. Look, I'm just going to stop there. Think about what happened last year. From 2019 to like now. They love adding content, but then they don't. This is our baby, and I think it's good and healthy for the game to do updates. With that said, like I mentioned, I think the experimental card, adding it to the game, and the agility that's given us in updating the game has been actually really amazing. I agree with that, it has. The experimental's great. But one thing I will say, again, being a bit critical on experimental, is it basically burst onto the scene with the 3-2-1 mode. It was, what the hell is this? Like, it was not going to go live, we know that, but it was a major experimental change. And then now, all they do with experimental is use it as the PTR. So they put balance changes on it, and they pretty much all go to live. So, yeah, sure, it's a way of everyone experiencing, like, the PTR experience, but it's not really experimental. Like, experimental, you're expecting, like, mad changes to stuff, right? Now, I don't think they could do that all the time, but I think it would be more interesting if every, you know, let's say every other experimental update, it actually was just a full-blown experimental update, then sure. Like, I remember the Roadhog when they turned him into, like, a DPS kind of hero with, like, a massive heal and stuff like that. So there's been some truly experimental modes, but most of it has just been, as I say, balance updates to the game. If you were to track balance patches in the first 2 years versus what it looks like after the experimental card, I think it's been a dramatic improvement to the game. It keeps the meta moving. It keeps things fresh. It does. But ultimately, what keeps things fresh is the game having, like, a new coat of paint. You know, like having new stuff added to it, not just stagnating away. Even though balance changes, like I said, and I've said this in multiple videos before, the devs, I'm sure, like Jeff is arguing right now, would endlessly argue, well, yes, this is content, it's fresh, and it freshens the game up, but without over-promising or announcing anything, those aren't the only ideas on the list for the future. It's not like our plan is we're not going to do anything between now and the release of Overwatch 2, but simple balance experiments on the experiment card. That's not our plan. We do have content planned, and while it might not be content like a new hero, which is, we know what the players want, we know what you want, but we're not going to give it you. And the defense of, like, this would make Overwatch 2 further out. Who gives a shit at this point, right? Like, everyone is starved for major content in Overwatch. I don't know when Overwatch 2 is coming out. I'm sitting here as a creator thinking, what do I even do with this game anymore, right? And I'm sure a lot of you guys are as well. Anyway, we go on. There's a lot of cool things that I think will keep the game fresh. And some things people might expect. Some things people don't even know are on the radar. So I think it will be a good year. All right. So I hope it is a good year. I hope there is content coming to the game, which is good content and a clever use of what we've got and ways of freshening up stuff. You know, I really do. For the sake of the game, I really do. And then Tam asked, the roster for Overwatch 2, I assume, is going to be everyone in Overwatch and then new characters on top. Is that fair to say? Jeff says, yes, correct. We'll be adding and we will not be removing anyone from the roster. Now, that's a straight up dig at people who are shouting for delete Brig and stuff like that. Yeah, you know, I agree with that. They shouldn't be removing heroes from the roster. It's a lot of time, a lot of investment to make these heroes. Yes, when there's problems with certain heroes, sure, they can look at balancing them and doing whatever to them, but straight up deleting them, I don't think is ever a good idea. Especially as well when you consider Overwatch, you become so connected to the characters. Now, let's ignore Brig for now. I mean, I don't think Brig should be deleted. I think a lot of people overreact to Brig, to be honest, but take a hero like, okay, Soldier 76, this is a hero that I play. Imagine if Blizzard just were like, oh, he died of old age, he's out of the game. I'd be like, you what? Like, that would send me mental. So, yeah, deleting heroes from the game when your players are attached to the heroes, which are the strongest element of the game, would be frigging madness. So, yeah, they're probably not going to do that. So, the interview, as it comes to its conclusion, kind of goes a bit mental. And Tam says, you're saying it's time for a dog to balance it out. And Jeff says, well, a dog would be cool too. Actually, Orisa has a dog. And a little bit of an Easter egg, guys. That's Jeff's dog. That is actually Jeff's dog. Orisa's dog is modeled off Jeff's dog. So there you go. Okay, and Tam says, true. There is a big dog moment coming up, says Jeff. I'm not going to spoil it now, but there is a dog that people will fall in love with coming up. It's a new dog, not an existing dog. A new dog. Dang. You got a cat exclusive in 2017, and now you have a dog exclusive. But I'm not going to give you any details. Okay, I appreciate that. It's coming up. There is a beloved dog that belongs to one of our heroes that you're going to learn more about. Okay. So there's something with a dog. Now, what could this be? So it could be straight up just an emote. Like Orisa's cat emote, which is fine. It could be some sort of comic which talks about a dog. I don't know. It belongs to one of our heroes. It doesn't say if it's a new or existing hero. Probably existing because we know new heroes are not coming to the game. But there's going to be a dog. So we've got that to look forward to. And finally, I will end on this. This is the solid public confirmation that 2CP is being removed from Overwatch 2. So, on the 2CP journey, and by the way, it wasn't intentionally ambiguous in the BlizzCon movie, we can just confirm that we're going to remove 2CP from competitive play in Overwatch 2. It's sort of beyond a consideration at this point, and it's something that we've committed to. So it's safe to confirm that. And yeah, there you go. 2CP is going from Overwatch 2. All right then, so one of the things I think with a lot of stuff recently, which has been, I think, produced on Overwatch 2, especially like from, I've made content like this, a lot of other YouTubers, a lot of streamers, even just people in the community have been talking about this kind of stuff. It's more of a frank discussion which is taking place now. And I think there's been a lot of very good questioning of the way the game has been handled, going from sort of like 2018 onwards and where we are right now and the ways things have kind of fell off and will things ever return. And there's a lot going on in the Overwatch sort of world in that respect. And I think these are conversations that need to be had. The conversations more so over like whatever, some sort of hero beef you've got with balance or whatever, but more in line with just the bigger picture of the game and where the game is going. And a lot of like, I think, viable concerns, because I think we've gone through such a long period now of waiting for stuff and like, oh, it'll be fine. Blizzard will release this. They'll do this. They'll do that. And then kind of see not a lot of that materialize. It is a little bit disheartening. But one thing I will say about Blizz is they always make a polished game. Okay, you're probably going to say, well, Sty, what about Warcraft 3 Reforged and whatever? All right, let's say core Blizzard games. So the new games that they make, their main franchises, which I guess you could still say Warcraft 3 is still part of. But, you know, World of Warcraft, Hearthstone, Overwatch, RIP, StarCraft. But those three games are always highly polished and highly playable. What we know about Overwatch 2, when it launches, it will be incredible. It'll be a Blizzard-style production, off the chart. We'll have great cinematics. We'll have awesome-looking gameplay. It'll play well. It'll do all of that. It'll tick all of those boxes. I just can't help but wonder that Blizzard have got a little bit of an outdated or outmoded approach to the way things are done in this day and age, especially when you start looking at competition. You look at games like Valorant, you look at games like Apex. kind of Fortnite you could throw into this, and you're like, yeah, Blizzard look a bit out of dated now. So wait and see what they do. All right, guys, thanks for watching the video. I've been Stylosa, and this has been another bit of an update on where Overwatch is going, based off an interview that Jeff conducted with GameSpot. And I will catch you on the next one. Toodaloo.